You can't fool me. All you 80s kids watch this movie primarily for two things. Maybe some other things. But definitely two of these things. You dirty dogs. How's it going, BFDers, and welcome to another episode of Big Fat Dookie. In the modern year of our Lord and Savior Joe Biden, crappy Star Wars and trashy legacy sequels are all the rage. There are, every now and then, a few bangers. Thank you, Denis. But more often than not, all we get is some bland rewrite of a film that Hollywood thinks will be a major success, and then they shove out some heaping pile of average cinema. But back in the day, films were bursting with creativity. And no, I'm not about to go on some soapbox about how back in the day things were better. It's not nostalgia because I was born in 1999. Suck it. There were films like Star Wars, Earth Girls Are Easy, Big Trouble in Little China, and the 1983 animated film Rock and Rule. I don't know if any of you have seen this film, and if you have, let me know, because I could barely find any information on this film in my little 5-minute hyper research session. So that might mean that this is an original video on YouTube. Maybe. And I only know about this film by chance. I was rotting on Instagram, as we all do, and I came across this strange animated film with a tone that resembled heavy metal. There were plenty of animated films from the 80s, most of them targeted at younger audiences with more G-rated content, as animation was still regarded as a children's medium. And it still is, which I have many a thought on. Go check out that video in one of these corners. But I am discovering that there were also more hardcore films targeted at older audiences, a male teenager audience. The male teenagers who are playing things like Dungeons and Dragons or listening to Metallica. Male teenagers who your mom didn't want you to hang out with because they were doing some satanic things like playing Dungeons and Dragons or listening to Metallica. Or in my generation, watching SpongeBob. Sidebar, Rock and Rule actually does have some satanic imagery, but it's used by the bad guys, so I think it could actually be considered anti-Satan. Just so you know. Rock and Rule is a film that hasn't really been discussed from what I can tell, which is why I'm here. It has been forgotten by time, even though it is wholly unique with diverse characters and an original world. Hard to find in 2024. Rock and Rule takes place an undetermined amount of time after a war that eradicated everything except street animals, rats, cats, and dogs. They somehow evolved into a civilization that rediscovered music. The world itself is dark and gritty and socially empty, containing only miscreants, it seems. Ohmtown, a dingy, industrial-looking city, is covered in dread from head to toe, and Nuke York is no better. Mock, a vampiric rocker, has peaked, is now on the downfall. He searches for a new voice to revitalize his music, and also wants to summon demons from the other world, but that's like a side plot. Our main characters, Omar, Angel, Stretch, and Dizzy, are a young, up-and-coming band that is trying to make it big in a world that seems to absolutely not care about them or anyone else for that matter. Omar, the lead singer, is laid back and couldn't care less, but touting a few subtle gestures that would suggest otherwise. Angel, the lead singer, is the passionate one who cares about the music. And the other two, Stretch and Dizzy, let's consider them the Shaggy and Scooby of the gang. There are a few other smaller characters that I will mention as they come up. Everyone in the movie is an anamorphic rat, humanoid figure that doesn't have a nose unless they turn sideways, and then it becomes very present. We open up for the gang at a talent show for a label, and the tension between Omar and Angel is on the rise. Omar wants to rock his song because it's cool, and Angel wants to rock her song because she wants to feel the passion.
Chop, chop, same song.
Omar, my song.
And now, back by popular demand, tonight's last act.
they play Omar's song, of course, and the non-existent crowd does not go wild, and neither does the unsavory manager. But Mock lurks in the shadows, listening. The manager stops the show, but Angel begs for another chance. Boss Man gives it to her, and she starts playing her song, and as a result, Omar walks off the stage. Mock, however, perks up and declares that he has found the voice. The show ends and the gang scatters. On the walk home, Omar visits Angel, who is potentially waiting for him. They share a quaint moment, and we get a little bit of that Omar charm. Then they go make out and probably something else. But quickly, they are interrupted by one of Mock's goons. The goon tells them that their presence is requested at Mock Manor. This is the inciting incident, and after this moment, it gets really trippy. Of course, the gang goes to the legendary Mock's Manor and is pretty much creeped out immediately. More of Mock's idiot goons, the Three Stooges, in essence, are all brothers and they harass the band. Except Angel, who is treated like, well, an angel. Omar trolls the crap out of them, acting like he thinks they're all Mock. It's a slick and cool sequence, much like how Omar is. But once again, Mock slithers out of the shadows with a bang and asks,
"Anyone want a beer?"
And he is dressed to the nines. I mean, he looks like a rocker. He rizzes up Angel, tries to, and then drugs the rest of the band with what looks like those little electric balls that when you touch them, they like, whatever those are called. Drop a comment, let me know. Mock takes Angel on a tour and uses Tron technology to trip her out until she passes out. It reminds me of the last YouTube Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared with Roy and all his monitors making stuff happen. So he kidnaps Angel and they take a hot air balloon that is just chilling in the roof of the Mock Manor and escapes. The gang is still drugged up and they're kicked out of the manor and sent back down to ohmTown. And on their way, they pass a street dog, which is strange considering that they evolved from said street dog. And they crash into a water fountain. Dizzy exclaims that they have to save Angel, and Omar is like,
She owes me a...
Owes you?
I mean, us. A personal explanation.
another subtle moment where Omar does actually care. But after traveling to New York, Mock all but locks Angel up, and we meet the sister of the Mock goons, and she looks just like the brothers. She just leaves a little bit less up to the imagination, if you know what I'm saying. They escape through the air vents, and while they're doing this, Mock is interacting with a supercomputer that has a big old brain attached to it. Given the druggy, trippy, rock and roll aesthetic of the film so far, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. Mock is dressed in an all-red jumpsuit, real devil vibes if you ask me. He's talking to this brain, and this brain brings up that the demon summoning Mock is trying to do can be stopped. Mock freaks out, rightfully so, and asks who. The brain says,
No one can send it back.
Mock rejoices. But if we take a look back at mythology, we know that no one means no one, not no one. Burnham Woods, ring a bell? No man can slay me. Nobody. Meanwhile, the band has made it to New York in a stolen cop car and has met up with a Coruscant Street level tattoo artist that, for whatever reason, Dizzy, known as Alphonse now, by the way, knows. And she reveals to them where they can find the aforementioned Goon's sister. They venture out to a dive bar where Goon's sister and Angel have also gone. It is a trip, and by trip, I mean trip. Full of 80s wacky stoner graphics, sexual body movements, scantily clad women, drugs, alcohol. Stretch does end up spotting Angel, but because of the partying has a hard time reaching her. After some more trip visuals, Angel manages to get out and Omar follows her into a densely fogged alley. I would like to point out, before I continue, that the bar they are in is the most heavily populated place in the entire film so far, implying that the most valuable aspect of this society is indulging in that sort of culture. Possibly because everything is hopeless and that sort of activity is the only thing that helps them live instead of survive. Feels strangely familiar. Back to the story. Omar finds Angel, but also Mock. And in a bizarre turn of events, Angel is clinging on to Mock, saying she would rather be with him. Omar screams.
I want everything too, Omar.
Got everything I need.
It takes time.
Come to Daddy. Excellent performance, my dear. What's her face? Thank you for your help.
Angel reveals herself to actually be a crackhead zombie rat lady. Mock also drops this infamous line.
All work and no play makes Mock a dull boy.
Angel continues to refuse Mock, so Mock, naturally, puts the band in a floaty drug orb until Angel finally agrees to sing. Mock puts the drug-induced band on a bus and sends them back to ohmTown. Mock has a show at Carnegie Hall and learns that Nuke York does not have the power capacity needed to summon this demon. He has a rock star meltdown and it's quite hilarious. Afterwards, Mock takes a sniff from his cocaine ring as one of his goons watches a children's program that touts the idea that one should always be good. He asks Mock about this, and Mock replies,
Sip, try to realize there is no longer black or white, good or evil. We've evolved beyond that.
But Uncle Mikey says we should
We
know
all
the
must
difference.
have our own personal view of right and wrong.
But is what we are doing evil?
Of course not. Remember, Zip, evil spelled backwards is live. And we all want to do that.
Oh, yeah. But Uncle Mikey says that,
nice tidbit of character from the two. Angel sits at a piano while Mock sunbathes, and then she has a rather clever idea. She goes over to Mock and starts to get all lovey-dovey on him, and he seems to love it. She says that instead of playing music, they should run away, and Mock almost agrees. And then he strangles her before gathering control because he needs her to summon the demon and all of that. Back in ohmTown, the band has regrouped, still in a drug fever, playing at the same talent agency place and is half-heartedly performing when the entire city loses power, because all of it is being sucked up by Mock and his demon summoning technology. They snap out of the craze and spot a poster for Mock's Satan show. Omar claims that Angel doesn't want to be with him, but she wants to be with Mock instead, but in his heart, he knows that isn't true. So they steal the same cop car from earlier and head to the arena. While this is happening, Mock has created technology that forces Angel to sing, and so, along with some pentagrams, the demon is summoned. And it is awesome and huge and is eating people from the crowd, but from the balcony. The demon prepares to strike and sends out a xenomorph thing at Omar, but the good goon from earlier steps in the way and takes the blow. As he lays there dying, his brother slides up next to him, asking why he would do such a thing. He says simply,
we ain't evil, are we?
Don't talk now, Zip.
The demon continues to terrorize, but Angel stands up and sings, stating that it's the only way to send the demon back. Omar pleads with her, but she doesn't listen. she sings her heart out. If you recall, at the beginning of the film, Omar won't let Angel sing, and when she does, he abandons her. But here, he stands and sings with her. A beautiful melody brought about by two voices, not one. This tactic is working, and in a panic, Mock jumps up to his control board, frantically yelling and smashing buttons, but the good goon's brother towers over Mock, and in revenge, throws him into the devil pit. As he is falling, he tries to clamber up the side, crying in confusion as the impossible is happening. But it's no use, as the two voices create a symphony. Evil is destroyed, and love prevails. The end. All of that trippy epicness is compacted into a tight 77 minutes. And that time is used well. Rock and Rule may not be the most complex film out there, but it's got a lot of heart and a lot of personality. Each character is their own person. Even the Mock minions have their individual personalities with their own arcs. By the end of the film, the stakes are resolved. Mock is destroyed, Omar and Angel come to terms, and good triumphs over evil. Bing, bang, bong, as they say in the industry. I would know. I have a film degree. All of these things create a fundamentally solid piece of cinematic art that I would say is done right. Of course, you can shake this up with overly artistic cinematic concepts that end up with a dull and boring film like Into the Void. Rock and Rule takes filmmaking to its own realm and twists it into something fantastic and enjoyable, but also insightful. It can get a bit confusing on the screen at times, but I shake that up to Mock messing around with his hollow projection science machines. $10 if you get that. I would definitely recommend this film to anybody who's a rock and roller of that era, and to anyone that likes creative stuff, because that's what this film truly is. Not some mishmash piecemeal of a show that takes the core visual aspects of an IP and slaps them together and expects an audience to like it. Video on the Acolyte coming soon. And if you want to be notified of it, hit the subscribe button so you can not miss out on that and all of our other epic videos. Yeah. But that's all I have for Rock and Rule. If you liked the video and you found anything insightful in it, or just want to show your support, smash that like button. We want to do this full time for you guys, and that gets us closer to the goal. Drop a comment if you've seen this film, because I am on the search for the few out there that are like me. But also leave a comment on your favorite animated film from the 80s, or just leave a comment saying what's up or something. I've left a link down below for where you can watch the Rock and Rule film, and definitely do that so we can create a cult for this cultless cult classic of a film. I've always wanted to be a leader of a cult. With all that said, I'm Jake, and I have been since at least last Thursday, and I'll see you in the next video.